Now, Federal Capital Territory operations were shut down today as workers commenced a strike and local contractors blocked the entrance to the Ministry of Finance, demanding payment for completed projects. Contractors under the All Indigenous Contractors Association of Nigeria staged a peaceful protest, chanting and displaying placards to highlight grievances over unpaid debts they claim exceed 4 trillion naira. Tensions escalated when the Minister of State for Finance arrived, with security personnel firing warning shots to clear a path. Protesters showed a bullet casing, alleging police fired at them during what they call a harmless and lawful protest. The contractors say most executed and commissioned projects remain unpaid, despite a directive from President Tinubu in December last year to set up a committee to address the issue. The strike by FCTA staff also grounded official activities across secretariats, departments and agencies in Abuja, with workers barred from entering premises until heavy security presence. Well, Rise News analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now for a chat on the protest by local contractors over the delay in payments for jobs done and the need for the federal government to overhaul bureaucratic bottlenecks that impede the contractors' payment process. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale. Many thanks for being here.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here.
Contractors looking for their rightful payment.
It's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate indeed.
I think we discussed it towards the end of the year, and they were promised December. So I thought there was repetition when I saw this topic, but it is pathetic. And to see a situation whereby they were showing bullet cases of security people shooting at them, that makes it even worse. I will say it again. It is the duty of government to initiate policies, to get budget for those policies, and to make sure they are delivered. But the people in between, to make sure they deliver, are the contractors. They are the contractors. So it is how do I put it? It is lack of commitment and accountability on the part of government not to praise contractors. It's a bad situation. Let's leave it at that for now.
Mr. Sobowale, lack of commitment and accountability by the government. Your words are definitely appropriate in this case. So we often see a lot of policies put in place, a lot of announcements made to lead to resolutions, but they never follow through. They are rarely followed through. What needs to change to move from paperwork to implementation?
Well, let's face this particular issue. Payment for job done. When we discussed it the other time, the Minister of Works said his own is to prepare invoices and set the process ruling for payment. That is the Minister of Finance, or the Minister of Finance should pay. So you can see why they vented the anger at the minister. They tried to stop him. He should not get to that stage. See, all these things involve paperwork, and that is what is called government efficiency. If you have undue delays and people want to speed up payment, that is where bureaucracy creeps in, and that is where bribery and corruption comes up. And this government has been fighting against bribery and corruption. You see, these contractors, they borrow money to do these projects. If they don't repay as scheduled to banks, they will be accused of abandoning projects. And invariably, maybe if they can't repay the banks, invariably the EFCC will be after them, and the banks will be after them. That is why you have in banks, they call them special assets department. That's debt recovery department. This is sort of stimulus that creates that sort of department. So it is wrong financially, morally, ethically. It is wrong. Government must put its house in order. Just as we have been told by the Minister of Works, the Minister of Finance, and the committee set up by the government should not let this situation arise again. You saw the protest towards the end of the year before Christmas. I thought they were hankering for money for Christmas, but we are in the new year. So there is no excuse for it. Except government, there is no excuse because the budget has just been passed anyway. The budget has been passed. So it's just as if there is no money on the ground. And I won't say it is only bureaucracy alone, But let government issue a statement on the delay before we go further. Let government say what is, that's transparency. That's transparency. You cannot, you see, we are doing tax reforms. Let us use, I've always said it, the zeal and the brilliance and speed with which we gather money in to pay those who have built our infrastructures with their labor and their skills. And then let us use that same speed to pay them and the same speed to deliver on the promises we made to the electorate during campaign time.
Mr. Sobowale pointed out so many areas where we see unintended consequences of this delay, like in the banking sector. We understand that banks are even seizing some contractors' assets because they took loans to execute the government jobs and can't repay. Is it time for us to have a complete shift into how these contracts are awarded, whereby the finances required are just given to the contractors, maybe upfront or as the projects are implemented, as opposed to them having to go get loans from banks and then now they can't repay and they have their assets seized?
Yeah, see, this is the nature of business. You have policies, you have business, and you have advocacy. That we are hiring this is because of people like the media. People like the media. That is the nature of government. There's something called government efficiency, which the US demonstrated. It's not a matter of cutting waste and fraud, but speedy delivery of government service. It is a culture that has to be built over time. We don't have a culture of service delivery just like that. You have the structure, but the structure invariably is abused. That is why you have the delay. You get me? And you see, it is pathetic. But if these people are not cried out, if they shouldn't be pushed to the extent to which they have to relay the Minister of Finance. And the Minister of Finance, if he respects himself, must create a situation whereby people will not be relaying and security forces will not be shooting at people who are trying to get at him because they think he's sitting on their money. So I may sound not in haste like you, but I know the nature of government. You get me? And I was AGM Special Assets in the bank, responsible for collecting bad debts. And before the debts get bad, you see, you can imagine the situation of the people. Some people take money to execute projects, and when this sort of payment does not come in, the debts accumulate such that the interest far outweighs the initial loan they took. It is a terrible situation. It puts people in financial predicament. It soils the name of government. It builds hostility towards government. So government should, it's a democracy. To be at the end of the day, you go back to these people to come and vote for you. So to be in their good books, it is even in the interest of government, unless it wants to commit political suicide. That because these people, this is a well of discontent, anger, and frustration directed at government. It is not even the nature, in the interest of government, to let this sort of situation persist. So they should issue a statement to dissuade these people from getting violent at them because they are sitting on their money.
Absolutely. And Mr. Sobowale, do you think that, because of course as we speak right now, we know that contracts are still being awarded, right?
Yes.
Of course. So do you think that it might be worth considering for the government to probably pause on awarding new contracts until existing debts are cleared, or do you think it will not help in this situation?
You have an arithmetical mind. Government is not 2 plus 2. You saw towards the end of the Buhari administration, you saw how many projects they were awarding. That is the niche. You need infrastructural development. You see, you need good money to chase bad. Government never stops. It is a continuity. It is a continuity. And you see, you don't, how do I put it? You don't put government in a hurry by whipping it into line or asking it to run faster. What is important is that government must be transparent and accountable. And in this particular case, be reasonable in paying those who are putting on the ground the infrastructure with which he wants to make life easy for all of us. Do you get me? It is not, like I said again, it's not 2 + 2, but it is a continuum. It is a continuum. And exigencies, developments, you mentioned unintended consequences. Maybe because they almost shot the protesters now, maybe government will do something. But it is a human social situation. And it is, the onus is on government to be responsible enough to pay people when they have done their projects. I know they will say they will do verification, like the Minister of Work said, verification so that they ensure quality assurance, that the invoices are for the right jobs and things like that, so that there's no waste or dishonesty. But then let speed be there. Get me? Let speed be part of the accoutrements of government in paying contractors that have delivered on the contracts they give them.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you so much, Arise News analyst Mr. Dayo Sobowale. Transparency and accountability and speed. Thank you very much. We appreciate you as always.